Libra, hello, happy November, that's me, hey. Hello Libra, that's me, how are we doing? Let's get to our spiritual messages for November 2017. First we have Omega, and Omega says, victory! Your desire is coming to fruition. Keep up the good work. I like it, I like it, I like it. Let me read Omega further. Omega says, congratulations, you have chosen to follow your divine guidance, and the universe is flowing in natural rhythm with your decision. Love it. When you listen to the messages that your heart whispers, you swim in natural synchronicity with the tide of your life's purpose. Stay relaxed and confident, and keep moving forward with happiness and grace. If along the way you notice problems occurring, then it's time to stop and center yourself. When problems occur, it simply means that you're temporarily out of sync with the universe's rhythm. I totally feel that because, we've had some really hard things to deal with this year, and it feels like, for a long time, it's felt like hopeless and like, this is just never going to happen for me. And it doesn't matter, what area of life. I think all Libras have been experiencing a lot of loss and a lot of, kind of realizing, we are all about harmony and beauty and love. And so I think we can paint a happy picture over our problems instead of dealing with our problems. But this year was all about addressing our problems. And so for me personally, and I have seen it with other Libras, I feel like it has created this hopelessness and this sort of 180 in us where we don't have that positivity, or it's been hard to find it. But I do feel like that luck is changing, that luck is turning around, and I feel like all of that loss and all of those hardships have kind of put us in a position to be stronger and actually, like, I have been experiencing God playing some crazy tricks on me, and so it's kind of like when we have washed away all hope, it's like that's when things turn around, right? When we have washed away all expectations and all, I think for Libras, for myself especially, I can say that I think there can be like this obsession, obsession towards the most beautiful thing, the most loving thing, and I don't know, that vibration of obsession slows down the process. So I think having washed away all of those hopes created a space that the seeds we had planted in our obsession can finally manifest without us like watching for a pot of water to boil, right? So let me continue. I kind of got off track. I hope that makes sense to a lot of you Libras. When problems occur, it simply means that you're temporarily out of sync with the universe's rhythms. Yes, and I want to say that now that everything is washed away, and I do feel like luck is changing, because of that hopelessness, I've had to let go, and I've gotten more into the flow of the universe's rhythm. So I hope other Libras are on that same wavelength. But once I surrendered to God, surrendered to the universe, surrendered to a lack of control, then doors started opening up for me. That's good. There is no need for analysis or shame when this occurs. Simply pray or meditate, breathe deeply, and wait until you feel strongly about your next move. Your victory is inevitable in this situation, so you needn't worry that temporary problems will thwart your desire. Whatever happens is supposed to happen, and when it happens is the correct time. That's another thing I've been learning this year is divine timing, that I can't force like when things can happen. So it's been a challenging year, but it's been a big lesson in my spirituality, and I hope that goes for other Libras. Whatever happens is supposed to happen, and when it happens is the correct time. Release your doubts to heaven, and rest assured that a happy outcome is yours. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we start with the Seven of Cups and anxiety, and the Seven of Cups can mean different things. Let's see what the additional guidance has to say. The Seven of Cups can mean you have lots of options. The Seven of Cups can mean daydreaming. The Seven of Cups can mean illusions. But, okay. Okay, so, well, I'm going to get more clarification. Spirit, please surround us with the warm, white, loving light of God. Please give us God-given guidance for the highest good of all for Libra and all those who love Libra. Spirit, can you provide us clarification on the Seven of Cups and anxiety for Libra and all those who love Libra? Thank you, Spirit. Could you provide us with God-given guidance for the highest good of all for Libras and all those who love Libra? For anxiety and the Seven of Cups, please clarify, Spirit. Thank you. In their spiritual path for Libra and all those who love Libra. Oh. Okay. So, I see that there has been some inactivity. There has been some, you know, like I said, a slow progress. Like I said, a lot of losses. Like I said, things... Is this focused really well? Our manifestations, our co-creations, our, you know, things that we have been charging forward on have slowed down, have washed away, have gone from our lives. So there's an inactivity. The Knight of Wands reversed is, when the Knight of Wands is upright, he charges forward, he moves forward, he is a quick energy, he is fiery, right? He is impulsive, he is driven, he is ambitious. Whenever it's reversed, it is, you know, a slower moving energy. So you still have that passion and drive within you, but it's like a smolder, right? It's not a, like, glowing flame, right? And then we have the Eight of Wands reversed, and the Eight of Wands speaks of messages, so there might be a delay in a message that you might have been frustrated about, thinking like, oh my God, when is it gonna come? I'm not hearing anything. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I'm just in this waiting period. Nothing is happening. No action. No, like, you don't even know where to move. You are inactive because it's like, you don't have enough information to go forward, right? You don't have enough knowledge enough like tangible knowledge to ignite you to move forward, right? So as a result, you might be creating some things in your head that lead to anxiety. And I feel, I mean, for myself, I feel like this anxiety has washed away, but it's like the Seven of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, each cup has a different thing in it. So when we use our imagination, when we use our daydreams, castles in the sky, when we use our imagination, we can imagine the best things possible. So some cups have jewels and diamond necklaces and, you know, gold in them. And then others have dragons and ghosts and nightmares. So because of this lack of information, because of this lack of action, because of this suspension period where we're in a waiting period and things aren't really moving forward, or seemingly they're not moving forward, it creates a space in our head to imagine the best case scenario and imagine the worst case scenario. And I've been struggling this year because I usually because we're Libras, I try to imagine the best outcome. I am a very castles in the sky person. And so I've had a very humbling year because, reality is never going to match that castle in the sky image that I have. And so I've had this anxiety surrounding that, thinking like, what good is it to think positive whenever, they are just castles in the sky, whenever it's like getting my hopes up, right? So I think like I should think positive, I should co-create and manifest all of these things, and a lot of times they actually do come into my life, but nothing is perfect, and those manifestations that I have co-created and manifested into my life, they've been taken away. I've had losses. So it's been very hard to keep positive, because the positivity can bear false hope, right? So I've had some anxiety in regards to what thoughts to think during this waiting period, right? Do I think negative thoughts and try to be more realistic? But, that often creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it doesn't bring me inner peace. Do I think positive thoughts and, get let down again? So that's the anxiety I've been struggling with, and I hope other Libras can relate to that. I think other Libras can relate to that. And it goes back to balance too, because sometimes in our attempt to be balanced and keep an even keel, we kind of bounce back from one extreme to the other, right? So it's the highest form of positivity and then the lowest form of negativity, instead of being more like meeting in the middle. So I can see where that would create anxiety. But anyway, so let's continue. You may be thinking of memories from the past. The Six of Chalices talks about a reconciliation. It talks about someone coming back from the past. It talks about fond memories from the past. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's two children who are exchanging their cups with each other. So it's very sweet and very innocent. In this deck, we have Granny reading to her grandchildren, and she's telling stories about how she and Grandpa met, or she's telling stories about, a princess who gets rescued by a knight in shining armor. She's telling stories of the days of yore, and the children have this innocent outlook on it. They believe in those fairy tales, they believe in those happy endings, and the granny can attest, I've lived a long life, I've lived a good life, you will have all the treasures that life has to offer because I am an example of that. But yes, it can speak of a lover coming back from the past, it can speak of a friend coming back from the past, family, reconnecting with people who mean a lot to you, right? So, we have it paired with the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Swords is the anxiety card. It's the anxiety and worry and stress card. And in this deck, it shows a man who is in a bird cage, and he does not belong there, right? Birds belong there, man does not belong there. And he is not trapped. The door is open, he can leave whenever he wants, but he's sulking in his own misery. And I've definitely experienced, and I know a lot of Libras too, have experienced this year where we have what seems to others like it might be a pity party, and it's kind of I don't think it's typical of Libra to do, like, all the, like, grief and suffering and sulking that I have done all year, but this year was particularly different because I did sit in this pain, I did sit in this anxiety, I did sit in these worries and loss and grief, and I think it was needed for us. But, you know, to address these issues that we usually tap dance over. But reversed, it means that you're coming out of that. And again, I definitely feel like we're coming out of anxieties and worries and sleepless nights and just trying to gain equilibrium, that middle ground. But part of that might be an inner knowing that you will reconnect and that something is returning, and to, you know, believe in those stories again. I'm crying. I'm getting, like, emotional. But to, you know, believe in those castles in the sky again. Next we have, again, the Eight of Wands reversed, and the Eight of Wands is, you know, an inaction, a delay in communication, and over it we have death. And death is something, you know, obviously that has died in your life. You might have experienced an actual death, and I'm really sorry for that, Libra. But death, if it's not in its actual physical form, you might have experienced a breakup. But the thing about death is nothing is really finite. Like, one thing I learned in college is nothing is ever created and nothing is ever destroyed. It always transforms into something else. So death is about transformation. When we die, we're buried, we're worm food, right? And then the worms, we give nutrients to the ground, we decompose, we make the soil richer, and then the worms have food, and the worms move up in the dirt, and the birds eat the worms, and the cats eat the birds, and circle of life, right? So every thing on earth benefits something else. I just noticed right here, there's a hourglass, says sands through the hourglass. These are the days of our lives. So it is about timing. Victory spoke of timing. And you're undergoing a transformation. You could be dealing with a Scorpio too. You could also be dealing with an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. But, or a Taurus. But all this pain, all this suffering, all this loss is going to transmute itself into a flower that blooms, right? Because when we decompose into the soil and make the soil rich, it makes for more fertile ground for flowers to bloom, for abundance to manifest into the world. So all of this pain, all of this loss, all of this suffering is in a transformation process where it can make something more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. And next we have the Hierophant reversed and the Knight of Wands reversed. And the Hierophant reversed speaks of unconventionality, sort of like rebellion. I feel like this is saying that you're rebelling from your old ways of doing things. And when I see death, I'm not seeing it as someone is never coming back, right? I don't see it as, because we have the Six of Cups here, it's like it is undergoing this transformation. But I think you're putting a death to something within yourself, like an emotional habit or a way of thinking, a way of thinking these manifestations, these co-creations that created anxiety. So you're saying, this is giving me anxiety, this isn't serving me anymore, I'm going to fly out this cage and radiate on a vibration that's going to bring me happy endings and dreams coming true and victory, right? So whenever the Hierophant is reversed, whenever it's upright, it's like the conventional way of doing things, it's dogma, it's going by the book, so it's like a fundamentalist approach to how the world works. You look at the Bible and you say, thou shalt not kill, I will not kill. Thou shalt not eat shrimp, I will never eat shrimp, right? And the card of the Hierophant is like, you are a sheep following this higher doctrine, right? But when it's reversed, it's like you are more listening to your internal feelings, your antenna, your emotional antenna, your spiritual antenna. You are listening to your inner guidance to lead you. And because you are listening to this inner guidance instead of also, I'm hearing too that we are no longer caring so much what others think, which Libra is all about the other. We're in the 7th house of partnerships and open enemies, by the way. So we do not pussyfoot around. We do not hide who our enemies are. We are very clear about who our enemies are. But I think we are rebelling from an old way of doing things. Because this is the sheep following someone else. So I think we are not caring so much anymore what others think, which is like totally Libra stereotype, right? Is that we care too much about what others think. We're people pleasers. We go out of our way to help others who, won't do a damn thing for us. So I think we are rebelling from that way of doing things, and I think we are rebelling from that leadership, rebelling from that guidance, rebelling from that traditional way we have always done things, and sort of going on this rebel journey of how we used to do things, of how we used to operate. And because it's new, because it's unconventional, and there's not a doctrine, because it takes an inner compass, it might feel like uncomfortable, it might feel uneasy, it might feel like things are moving very slow because we don't know which direction to go, we don't have the information. All we can use is this intuition within us to guide us to our victory. Oh, that was such a sweet message, Libra. Let me get on to money, health, and career. I took a break, Libra, because I was getting so emotional. Well, my foot was asleep, but I was getting so emotional. And so I also want to say that I think we are also changing the way we do things. Again, because we're Libra, I think we, in the past, have put on a happy face and not really dealt with our problems or dealt with emotion. And so, because I had to take a break to cry. I cried because it was such a beautiful reading. It was like tears of joy. I think we are more accepting of or starting to get more accepting of our feelings, so that, we finally look at them, we finally address them, and we are carving time out to cry. But it's all for the best, right? So I want to say that, and I also want to say that the Six of Cups, if it's not someone who's returning from your past, it could also mean like because we're getting into money and career, it can also mean like a dream you had as a kid, what you wanted to do as a kid, what you wanted to, when you were a kid, what you wanted to be when you grew up, and perhaps you have suffered a loss in that regard, but that is returning, right? That spark of your dreams as a kid. So let's get on. We have perfection with judgment. Ooh, I like it. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Okay, and these two cards fell out, so I felt like I needed to do both. We had a lot of jumpers this month. So first we go to compass. Remember, in your work, money, and your career, money, and your health. So compass says, as long as you orient your compass to true north, the direction of your higher power, you will never be lost. You're entering uncharted territories right now and can expect wonderful new experiences. To stay on the highest path of your destiny, you'll need to keep your compass pointed to true north. Only spirit or a higher power can serve this function. Money, property, prestige, romance, and other material achievements can't help you find your true path. They are simply things you may experience along the journey. Ooh, clear message. Thank you. Know that spirit is working in your life. So even if you feel lost temporarily, it will be easy to find your way. Have faith and trust, for your compass with spirit as true north will ensure that you'll never be lost, even on a starless night when all seems dark. And see, that was the same. I love whenever tarot does this, but that was like along the same lines of the spiritual message that we had, right? So let's go to rock bottom, and whenever it's reversed, I like to read both meanings just to get the full perspective. So rock bottom says surrender and acceptance are the keys to freedom. Upright, rock bottom says, as difficult as it may be to accept, it seems that you've reached a point where you can no longer you can go no further in the same manner in which you've been doing things. Oh, I feel that. Perhaps you've hit a proverbial brick wall or experienced a deep sense of loss and don't know where to turn. The old way of doing things must be discarded fully in order to move onward and upward. The new direction and a new strategy are called for. The only way out is through surrender. Accept things as they are and admit that you have no idea what to do next. Same message, y'all. If you wait in that heartfelt moment of release, then a stairway will appear like magic, and all manner of synchronicities will show you the way to higher ground. The rock bottom card is a sign that a miracle is about to occur, and only if you let go completely. So again, like I said, that's surrender. And I want to get to this judgment card because this judgment card is kind of like a surrender card. So rock bottom goes on to say, reverse, this card is the symbol for addiction in all forms, subtle or obvious. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results will never provide you with what you desire. At this moment, there is nowhere else to go, and you're facing the end of the road. If you fear change, be willing to change. Surrender your wants to a higher power. Ask for truth and allow humility to be your guiding force from within. You will always get what you need. Sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied. You are only a victim of your perceptions. Take heart because you can't sink any further. The only way to go from here is up, and wondrous things await you. So I think with the rock bottom card, it is splitting into two different messages. One message is for more of a career slant. This, like, I have no way to go, so I surrender to God. Or this is a dead-end street. And the other message is for those Libras who are battling addiction. And that's not really me, but I think, you know, if... like the first message is a career message, and then the other message is an addiction, is a health message. So for, I mean, and these kind of go hand in hand, right? We have to use our inner compass because the road we are on has reached like a dead end. So we start with perfection and judgment. And judgment is one of my favorite cards. Judgment is during the rapture, Archangel Gabriel comes down and he blows his horn and he says, do you want to stay on earth with all its pain and its suffering, or do you want to come with us to heaven and ascend to the next level? And it's about surrendering to God. So you say, yes, Archangel Gabriel, I will come with you to heaven. But you don't know what heaven is, and it's very scary to leave an earth that you're used to, right? Leave all this pain and suffering that you're used to. Leave this deviled ground that you're used to. But you know that the path forward is better. You know that the path forward is of your highest good. So it's about graduating to the next level. It's about ascending to the next level. Ascending to the next level with complete faith without knowing what the other side is going to look like, right? It's hearing the call of God. It's hearing God's purpose for you. It's you could also get messages from your guides and angels and spirit through music, because Archangel Gabriel blows his horn. So, or you could be involved with music for some of you. Let's see what the additional messages have to say for Libra and all those who love Libra in their career, money, and health. For Libra and all those who love Libra. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What are the messages for Libra and all those who love Libra in their money, career, and health? For Libra and all those who love Libra. Money, career, and health. If you are suffering from addiction, then we have the devil down here and we have angels up here, right? So the devil is trapped on earth. God said, you don't respect our higher law, so you are chained to earth. You can't come with us. You can't ascend with us. You are grounded, right? We don't allow you up into the heavens because you are too negative. The devil is your inner thoughts. It's your worry. It's your doubt. It's your negative inner chatter. It's that voice inside your head that says you're not good enough. He says you're not worthy enough. You are never going to be loved. You are destined to fail. And so whenever we hear that negative inner chatter, whenever we hear the devil say that no one loves us, whenever we hear the devil say that we're not talented enough, then we are susceptible to addictions, right? We are susceptible to covering up that pain and not listening to him because we want something to drown out that negative inner chatter. So the message, if you are dealing with addictions, if you're dealing with drinking too much, with doing drugs, with, sex, with anything that you might be, any obsessions too, right? So any obsessive thoughts that you might be addicted to, the judgment card is calling on you to surrender to God and to have faith that you are loved by a divine force, and you might not always see that divine force, but it's about feeling it, right? It's more of a feeling card. So, Spirit, could you clarify perfection and judgment for the money, health, and career messages? Yes. Money, health, career messages for Libra and all those who love Libra. Spirit, could you clarify perfection and judgment? One more. Seven of Swords, excuse me. And Justice reversed. So you might be feeling like not yourself right now, because Justice reversed, justice can mean, can symbolize you. We are the scales. We are all about justice. We want everyone to be treated fairly and equally. We want, an equilibrium among the human race, right? So we start out with the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is the single lady, independent woman card. And she, even if you're in a relationship, this just means that you are really dedicated to your own personhood. It means that you are self-sufficient. It means that your partner is someone who is a bonus and not someone who you're reliant on. You are self-reliant, right? You have your own opinions. You have your own bank account. You have your own direction in life. And anyone who comes into it is just part of that. Anyone who comes into your life is just a partner. Libras can often be misunderstood as people who need to be in relationships because they are the house of partnerships. But really, I've met a lot of Libras who have been single for 100 years, including myself, right? And it's because they want an equal partner. They want a fair and balanced partner, and they're not going to settle for less. They're not going to make the wrong choice and settle for someone who is not going to be this complementary force in their life, right? If you aren't going to add value to my life, why would I bother? Why would I waste my time and energy on that, right? So, Nine of Pentacles is about being self-sufficient, independent, strong sense of personhood. Get your nails done. You take care of yourself. You nurture your beauty. You are smart with your resources. You are perfectly fine with getting things done by yourself. And again, any partner that you have must add value, must add, and because this is, just got a message. Because this is the single ladies card and it's like self-sufficiency, some of you might be ascending and moving into self-employment. Because next we have the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords in this particular deck, I like it in this particular deck because it shows a woman who is painting a picture of this door, and it's a little abstract and distorted from the original door, but, her art is going to inspire feelings within others. And so the Seven of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite deck shows a thief in the night who is stealing swords away from a camp. And so a lot of people interpret it as the sneaky, lying, cheating card. But I feel like it's more strategy. It's definitely sneaky, but it's more of a strategic. It's like sorting your swords. It's like defragging your thoughts almost. So whenever it's in this deck, it's a more positive interpretation because it's the way to defrag your thoughts, the way to sort your thoughts is through your art. That's very Libra, right? And so you might be moving into a state of self-employment in regards to your creative pursuits, in regards to your artistic endeavors, whether that's painting, whether that's music, whether that is, we're all about beauty. We're Venusian, right? We are ruled by Venus. So we are all about art. And I love that, man. Oh, I love that. If this is speaking to some of you Libras, please let me know. But, like I said, she is painting this door in an abstract way, so it's not the exact image of the door. It is an image to elicit feelings and responses within her audience, within the people who view this art. And so we have justice reversed right here. And so this art might be a result of the injustice you see in the world. And, you know, this like pain and loss and suffering you've been feeling, this injustice you've been feeling in your life, you know, making that into art is going to, I'm getting emotional again, jeez, making this art as a result of the injustice you have faced in your personal life and in even like a global sense, a national sense, doing things on your own to make this art, to reflect injustices, to make the world a better place, to elicit responses, to make the world more beautiful, to ascend to a higher place. Is beautiful. Oh, that's so beautiful, Libra. I love it. Let me know what you think in the comments, because I'm feeling so connected to this reading, and I really hope all Libras understand what I'm talking about. But it's definitely going to take an inner calling. It's going to take a surrender to God, to have faith that you can do it on your own, that you can be successful with your art. And I think it is going to be a success, because I think it's going to be a success. I mean, you're going to heaven, girl. Next we have, ooh, I love it. We have flexibility in the Magician. And the Magician is someone who has all the tools. They have all the elements in their hand. They have the pentacle, the cup, the wand, the sword. They have all the skills, all the training, all the necessary elements, all the wherewithal, everything they need to create the life they want. It's about co-creation. It's about manifestation, right? We have talked a lot about manifestation in this whole reading. It's about the bigger message is that it's about intention, right? However you wield this power, however you wield all the all the skills, all the training, all the tools, it's about being determined on what you want, having a goal in mind, and radiating on that vibration, using the power of intention. You know, a candle is just a candle, and it might not actually hold any magical power. But if you use your mind to put your intention into that candle, then that candle suddenly transforms into magic, right? So that's what the Magician is about. It's about taking your desires, taking your resources, and merging those two. So let's see what we have in the Whispers of Love Oracle deck. We have Love Makes the Difference, and it says love can help heal past hurts and provide a sense of security, self-worth, and importance. We have a horn again, so this could be talking about music. Remember, listen to music to see if you get any messages that, God, why? I got a Twitter message from a friend who is a negative Nancy. But anyway, so, back to love makes the difference. Actually, that's the advice I need to tell that friend. So back to you, Libra, back to us. So love makes all the difference. So again, we have this horn, so you could be changing the world and making it a more beautiful place through your music. You could be having more faith in love as a result of music. You could be getting messages from the angels as a result of music. I feel like a strong music message in this reading. We also have butterflies here, so it goes with that transformation. It's just a very beautiful card. The but we also have get to know each other. And so you might have met someone new, could be an Aries, but let's see what the other cards have to say. Getting to know each other says learning to meet another's need. Learning to meet another's need for love is important for a relationship to grow. So each of you are learning what each other needs. What satisfies you in love may not satisfy the other in love. So learning about your partner, you'll be able to give them what they need in a way that it's like not making assumptions about what they need, but like very listening, right? So if you're in a new relationship, then you, of course, are getting to know each other, like how many siblings do you have and what school did you go to, blah, blah, blah. But if you're with an existing partner, or if it's talking about this person returning from the past, then there might be some things that you need to know about your partner that, like you might be getting these new discoveries about your partner, right? And also, if someone's returning from the past, perhaps having undergone these transformations, both you and your partner need to get to know each other again, right? So with this love makes a difference, I feel like, and it's so funny that my friend sent that message as I was reading this card, but before she even sent the message, I was thinking that your love and positivity makes a difference to even strangers, right? So sometimes we get into like online fights over politics, and everyone's quick to be like, you're this, you're scum, blah, blah, instead of really like hearing each other. So I think in conflict, I call on Libra to focus on love and to bring the arguments to a more loving place so we can find a solution. So let's see the additional messages we have. $31. Love makes a difference. Love is strong and can endure anything. If you trust love, everything else will fall into place. If there are challenges, it is important that you allow your heart to remain open. And this can also speak of someone coming back from the past. We have love can heal past hurts and provide a sense of security, self-worth, and importance. So if someone is coming back from your past and you are you have anxiety about that and you don't know if it's going to be the same as it was, just keep in mind that love can endure anything, and if you trust love, then everything will fall into place, right? So, yes, it's important to be open at this time. Let's see, getting to know each other. Get to know each other. The need to feel loved and appreciated motivates how we will act in a relationship. Taking time to understand each other will benefit you, as you will find that this will only help love to grow. Recognize your differences and don't try to control every aspect of what is before you. I like that. I think we are giving up control. We need to, definitely, but I think we are coming to a place where we're not being such a control freak. At least I am. I think that's the big message of 2017. And it's funny because we have flexibility and the Magician here. And so the Magician, when it's reversed, it can kind of be like a manipulative energy, right? Like a controlling energy. It's like that controlling side of witchcraftery, right? So it's like witchcraft, right? So putting love spells on people. But when you focus on flexibility, it's like You are no longer obsessed with that outcome. You are no longer a control freak about that outcome. You are, oh my goodness, you are, you're more in the flow of co-creation when you're more flexible about the outcome. So we have the Knight of Chalices reversed and the Queen of Chalices. And so you could be dealing with a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces. Spirit, could you give me clarification on flexibility and the Magician? Flexibility and the Magician for Libra and all those who love Libra and their love and personal life. What are the messages for flexibility and the Magician? A couple more shots for Libra, all those who love Libra. Thank you. Please surround us with the warm light, love, and light of God. Please give us guidance. Four of Wands reversed. Okay. Okay, so, that wasn't the best card to end with, but let's talk it out. Let's work it through. So, so the Knight of Chalices is the Knight in Shining Armor card. He is typically a water sign, so a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Someone who is upright. The Knight of Chalices is someone who's offering their cup of love. And they are, very sweet, very romantic, and very heart-centered, very dreamy. When it's reversed, it can mean someone who is emotional. It can mean, moody, right? It can mean someone who is moody. It can mean someone who is, because he's so dreamy and romantic, feelings change. So he's not a mature king, right? He's not a, he's not a queen, he's not a king. He hasn't matured yet. So he hasn't mastered the ability to harness his emotions, it's kind of like a lack of commitment, right? So it's like he felt in love at the beginning, but difficulties made his emotions fly off in a wave, right? So it's like letting moodiness or letting his emotions kind of flow into directions that aren't controlled, right? So it's like he was in love at the start, and then it flowed into a lack of disinterest, and he was off to give his cup of love to someone else because he just goes where his feelings take him, right? So that is an energy that you're moving out of. And then we come to the Queen of Chalices, and the Queen of Chalices is a more mature energy. The Queen of Chalices is someone who is very nurturing, very loving, very sweet. And again, it could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. If it's not a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, then all of the qualities I'm describing have to deal with the person you're thinking about. So the Queen of Chalices is someone who is very loving. She holds you in her bosom whenever you're sad, and she tells you everything's going to be okay. She makes you a snack, and she cuts the crusts off, and she makes sure you have slippers, and she listens to your problems, and she, gives the best hugs in the world, and she is so sweet. So all of the queens take their element and they nurture it. So she takes feelings, she takes your feelings, she takes her feelings, and she waters it. She tends to it, she cares for it, she nurtures it, and then they multiply those resources, right? So she multiplies those feelings by putting in the effort to tend to them, to nurture them. And in this particular deck, we see a man who's on his knees, and he is, I always see it as like a forgiveness card. So if someone is coming back from the past, they could be asking for forgiveness, which is great. And I think there is going to be like, forgiveness is a two-way street, right? Forgiveness. And I love how this says love makes the difference, because sometimes we're so like self-righteous and we want to be right that we miss out on opportunities of love because our pride gets in the way, right? Like we want to win the argument, but this card shows me that both parties are saying, I'm sorry for doing this and I forgive you for this, right? So each party is saying, I've made mistakes. I want to work on those mistakes, and I don't want to be petty anymore about the things I was upset with you about. I just want to move forward. So that is so sweet. Oh, I love it. I love this card. Next we have the Four of Wands, and it's not like totally terrible. It just means that things aren't exactly stable yet. With any of these energies, they can be like flipped around, because we do have free will, and it's just like energies around you. But the Four of Wands is the home card. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it is women. It's a group of women who are putting these wands in the ground as tent poles for a wedding. So it's about like building foundations for home, building foundations for a stable family life, for a stable love life, for a stable and happy home. And in this card, it's super sweet. It's snowing outside. It looks like holiday time, and we have a family with a fireplace and kids and a very loving couple, and it's very much like It's a Wonderful Life, right? It's very sweet. And I like how I got that that message of It's a Wonderful Life, because remember, in It's a Wonderful Life, oh God, I forgot his name. Is it George O'Malley? But the main character is going through this sort of like Scroogey ungratefulness, and his guide shows him that he actually has a warm, loving family waiting for him back home, and he actually does have a wonderful life, right? So perhaps the Four of Wands reversed is saying that things may seem unstable, things may seem like in disarray right now, but it's an illusion, and you can and do have actually a wonderful life. So, Lauren, that's a sweet message. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. That was so sweet. But again, it's this love makes a difference, right? It's like, your home life may be unstable right now, and that sucks. But it's temporary. I want to get clarification. I have to get clarification. Spirit, could you clarify? Well, okay. We have the Fool. So the Fool is a card of someone who has gotten rid of their baggage. They only have a little bit of baggage so that they are prepared for the future, right? And they have their friend with them, their dog, and they're ready to go into the unknown, go into a new frontier, go into new territory. Excuse me. They have a key that they believe will open this invisible door that they can walk through. But your friends might be saying like, don't do it, dude, don't do it. This is a cliff, you're going to fall off. But the Fool has complete faith and says, I know that this key is going to open this door. I know that it's going to take me into my path. Almost like magic, right? Oh, beautiful, beautiful. You might definitely be dealing with a Pisces because the Fool is my Pisces card. But the Fool is about taking a leap of faith. The Fool is about leaving the past behind to go on new journeys. And if you do that, I think you will have a stable home life. Oh, I want to, no, I think that's a good message. Thank you so much, Libra. This was a more emotional reading than I expected, or that I have probably ever done. I think this is the most emotional I've been in all of my readings, but in the best way possible. I think we got a lot of messages, a lot of sweet, loving messages, and I'm looking forward to the energies, right? And I will see you next month. I love you very much. Bye.